Good God. I had to do a sound check. Had to reboot the whole computer. It's pretty brutal. So, I'm hog long the Australian dollar here. I'm hog long the euro dollar here. I'm dumping, going super long. Look at this fucking hammer. Anybody buy that fucking insane fresh low? Okay, let's see here. What's the story? Look at that thing leaving the station. Boy, they beat the shit out of that euro, didn't they? Those bears just took that to the woodshed down there. Below 130. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, I know. Well, it was a disaster because if you could have only heard what I was listening to, and it was just me talking in midair. It was like just like watching one guy play tennis. You couldn't see the other guy. A guy playing tennis against the backboard. Well, I guess if you're good, that's demo trading. Go to the backboard. Except where I lived, at the backboard, I was not mounted very securely, so it gave up so much energy you couldn't get the ball back off it, so you really had to lay into it. But that came in handy for anger management purposes. Yeah. So wow, look at this fucking euro. I put in some orders without stops in the Bitcoin. Real down deep here. I only got filled on a few of them. So unfortunately, I didn't get my full. I just kind of threw these in, and then I just threw these in. One more here, but I'm just picking up the Bitcoin collapse. How about this Bitcoin? I mean, who couldn't see this coming? So, wow, it looks like a bargain basement. Like I would buy it from here all the way down, real lightly. And I would scalp it. Like, look at this thing just melt down into this fucking hole. So I had this marked off on this chart using the jigsaw principle. But jigsaw without the colors. I just put in boxes of voids behind the market. That's my technique, I guess. I discovered. Look at the Germans getting crushed here. I think this is the tippy top for the monthly German stock market. It's over. It's done. Put a fork in it. Just like I predicted, fucking iPhone hit a wall. Yeah, dude, it just sucks. It sucks dick. It makes Windows look good. That's how bad the new iPhone is. So, but I'd be buying in here for a bounce. I'd actually be buying here. I'd be scaling into it here. I'm buying the dollar yen tonight. I'm buying the Australian dollar. So I'm actually got pendings below on this to get picked up in the stream. So I'm trying to make it like spinning plates. You got an ore in the fire, so to speak. Here I'm going to put in all these smash down orders. But it's like 3 hours. So if it looks like it's done tanking, I'm going to certainly be buying this thing right in this window. So it's obvious trade, right? Look at the Australian dollar fucking just ripping. This thing is ready to pop like a boil. I don't even think this is the only pullback you're going to get. I think this thing's hell-bent on this hole. Well, here's going to be the obvious bouncing off this 20-yard line here thing. But, Jesus, I'm buying this on pullbacks. So I'm getting in at the market lightly, but look at the 4 hour. We just took out this 4 hour bar, so this whole marching staircase, even a robot's going, a dumb fucking goober bot's going along right now. Those 2 pip handles, these little dash things. But he just went long. And it's cancel replace every 4 hours, so every 4 hours you're putting in a... you could leave these here and let these get picked up in the stream and then just go long by default. There's so many ways to do it. That would be the, the preferred missionary position, that you get in here like a goober, You bang your wife just enough to make sure she stays married to you. So here is, these would you just be adding to a winner, right? And structurally on close, this is a big problem here. So as soon as it comes here, sellers are coming in obviously as 2 pip grid. So the spread here is under half a pip. There's commissions on the broker though. So, but here's my buy at the market with limits. And there's probably a 15 or a 30-minute plunge order, but that's probably not going to happen. So what's realistic at this point? It's probably just keep going up. Now, you would have said the same thing back here, but they would have smashed you if you got trapped on this breakout of this doji and you ran a trailing stop after you got filled. You can only see what could go terribly wrong there. Let me see, bring up this fucking drawing machine. I was just watching ICT and, oh my fucking God. He did a video here about 17,000 views. And on November 19th, he did it. So this is the anniversary of his posting 1 year ago. If you go look up ICT, institutional price levels, and new science of fib use, you want to fucking laugh your ass off. There's no comments. You can't comment and you can't like or dislike it. But it is gold. It's pure fucking gold. Here, I got it on slow playback. Well, anyways, you can only imagine. He takes you to the Fibonacci, and then he says at one point here that, really, you don't really need it. No, my favorite part's here when he gets into the Robinacci shit. Here we go. Illuminati, obviously. That's my favorite part. So there's always somebody pulling the strings, bitch. A puppeteer. Is this guy from the Flat Earth? It is very unsettling. Oh, it's just too much. But that's a hoot. Guy cracks me up. Then he has a mentorship. He does a mentorship thing at the end. So yeah, here we are back in the saddle of hell. And look at the monthly. Okay, actually, I'm drawing mode here. The monthly Swiss. What happened here? Oh, this is bad data here. We can't trust that. Yeah, I'll be buying this thing on plunges. When London opens, we could be sweeping down into here. So I'm going to buy this here. Anything below that day. Actually, I'm slightly long right now. I'm underwater on some stuff here. And actually, the problem with making these kind of dollar index associations is that you miss these trades because you're thinking in terms of, well, how can the dollar be going up and the Australian dollar and the Australian going up against the dollar? It just is. I don't know. Plus, a lot of this to me looks like when the next market opens, if they've run out of sellers or buyers at the end of that session, just by default, the path of least resistance style of trading, which is trend trading, right? I mean, you're making higher highs until you're not, right? This is the Forex hangout theory. You're making higher highs and higher lows, you're not. Yeah, which higher highs and higher lows, though? So that's my question always. What are you talking about? Like, are you talking about these? Let's see if I get this in the right mode. Okay, so you're talking about these lows, or are you talking about like matching this low to this low? Now, people would say, well, this is a swing high to swing low. Can't you see that? And I would say, on the 4-hour chart, if you've got any kind of, if you can get to your chart every 12 hours, you should be able to trade the lows from 8 hours back. I think that's a no-brainer, right? Let's see, I'll erase this shit here. So if you got in, if you had buy limits here and buy limits here because you're bullish, you definitely got filled. And if you waited for the end of the 4 hours to pull the trigger at the market, so all your market orders, you can see them clearly. If you're going to buy pullbacks in a downtrend, and after 4 hours, you're buying here and here, and then here. It's only like 3 buys in there. This is not really pulled back yet, but when it's down, you're buying at the market. All right, so you got 3K long here, or 3 standard lots, however you trade, or how big you want to go. But if I did buy a standard lot here, I would have to say logically, I've got to get out when they take out the high here, because the sellers are going to come in here and then they're going to rip it back in. So it just keeps ripping during this accumulation phase, or actually the phase where people go, I guess it's not going down, and it's still punching into this uncharted water. And you could have been the guy today to sell here and be up on this trade with a wide enough stop. Now, all your ratios are going to have to vary, because you can't just trade one strict ratio. You can't do it. You can't play in one key and make a living. You just can't. I guess you play E if you play guitar. But I think and of course, Asia's session here is so quiet. It looks like the market's closed. But yeah, the robot's long here. And then the other question is, how much of a trailing stop is it going to run? Is it going to run it tight, and then it's only going to lose this much, so a very small loss? Are you going to add to it here? Are you going to wait till it breaks here and buy? Of course, this is the trap, right? It's going to probably pull back to here, so you're going to see the next trade. To me, this is a good low. 12 hours ago. These are all great places to buy. So here's a little mini vac before it explodes. You get your buy stop, right? So, yeah. I know the Forex singer guy, I watched him do a thing about trading, and I thought, oh my God, 5-minute chart? You're killing me. He's got the 5-minute chart all zoomed out and everything. So is everybody enjoying the volatility in the markets? I love how people say stuff like, well, it'll be quiet going into the holidays. And what's going to happen to the euro versus the pound? Markets are pretty exciting when they rip. I do think this is a great scalp here, though. Early scalping on this doesn't mean that by London Open we can't be down in here all the way back to this round number. At least in this window, I got like a 30 pip window here. So, but I wrote these scripts to be 20 and 30 here, so I know that if I double click that for 2 hours, it's going to cover that area, but I think it's going to take about 9 hours to get down there. Honestly, you know, realistically. So yeah, I don't know. He trades one size. Now this is what I don't get. You're trading one size. Like this is like saying, well, I bought a car. Okay, I like it so far. What kind of car did you get? Well, I got a car with a manual transmission. Okay, well, no. Just there's one catch, though. It's only got a third gear, so I'm actually going to burn up the clutch a little bit, and I'll only be able to go till the engine ruds lines and probably be just about the highway speed. So how could you even do that, right? That's like opening a store. If they claim trading's a business, it's like opening a store and saying, well, dude, everything here is $18, regardless of what it is. If it's really a cheap thing, we'll give you 2 gallons of it. Like, how are you going to fix the metric on that? Like, you've got to fix the metrics, man. You can't just walk into a business and not consider that where's your money coming from? Like, why would you spend all that time dialing in a Gartley pattern when you just know that for some odd fucking reason that when it goes down here, there'll probably be buyers, right? ICT was saying that the supply and demand doesn't work. Everything works if you work it, I guess, like AA or something. But so, you know, it just depends. Are you gonna? Is this going to be a performance art where you're scalping at the market when the market's really acting up, or are you going to plot out all your trades on a Sunday night and know exactly where you're going to get in and get out of every currency, whatever currency pairs you're trading in a swing manner? So a swing trading mindset is so different than a guy that's going to 5 minutes before the London Open, he's going to launch a bunch of, well, whatever the market dictates as far as when the volatility dries up. It's usually when things get really spooky and something's got to give, and it's going to go either way, and it's probably going to make up for lost time. So the more dojis you have, the more violent the departure. But that's not really that evident when people start throwing moving averages on there and all this other shit. I think it'll distract you from what's really going on. I mean, I went as far as to put a 1 period moving average on here just to give me the tempo, show me the market orders that are no-brainers. Granted, if you bought this pullback here, buying at the market theory, and a pullback without any Fibonacci, because what if your Fibonacci says that you should be getting in down here? Aren't you a little pissed off about all the money you missed out on? Like, well, I had a fib down here, was supposed to come to this, a 618 down here, can't you fucking see? I mean, obviously we can imagine this is a 38 pullback. But what if it comes back and it just misses by, really? And you're still putting Fibonacci on. Now, this is some colloquialism. This is like, I get that this Forex hangout guy's not a mass murderer. Therefore, he's doing like conventional shit. Like, yeah, well, you know, when we walk the dog, we bring our own, like, pooper scooper and everything, you know, we're those kind of people. So a little dash of Fibonacci, you know, this is like, people are cooking. They're like, you know, I usually put a little of this in there, and I don't know if it helps, but I didn't cook it well. I mean, I always cooked the wrong temperature, but I thought, well, a couple more spices would help. It's certainly right. But I don't know, man. I mean, you know, but I say this is different strokes for different folks. For me, I think the trading thing's exciting. I like to see them come after my orders and like trade the other side, trade on limits instead of pulling the trigger at the market like a complete fucknut, you know? I mean, it's okay, you know, but every time I trade the market, I feel like a total loser because why aren't I putting this order in 3.5 pips deep? You really fucking think they're not going to pull it back? If you're bullish or if you're bearish, why are you getting in and selling? Boom. And if you are, okay, if you did a 1K, I got it, right? So you're psychologically in the market, but you're selling a standard lot or whatever, 2% of your account, like now you've got no bullets, you have one bullet. If you put 2% of your account on one ticket, then you're like, yikes. So, this is the worst color scheme. I was going to change that. You can't even see these fucking things. But, like, this is the problem, you know? How can you catch a falling knife without losing all your fingers? Well, in this case here, if you're a big boy, and I mean, if you got a guy that can trade with a 100 pip stop and you bought on limits here, you're not stopped out of that trade yet. And I don't know if anybody watched Clevesis' I put a link to Clevesis here. He said that now this is Clevesis has arrived at the wisdom level of saying, well, yeah, you can't go to a chat room because everybody has a different time frame they're trading on. Some people are on the 5-minute chart looking for a setup, and some people are on the 4-hour chart looking for a setup. That's why, like I said, people are making money around you, and everybody would agree, especially if you're able to call the market, and supposedly it's not random, so you'd be able to say, well, I know that you're going to fucking, oh, got in traffic today. So, yeah, people are making money now, and I notice people are driving worse or than normal. They think because they have airbags and all this shit, they think they can do anything. And so I see people, I'm like, wow, really? Okay, so I just want to stay home. I don't want to go out. Oh, man. People are just out of their fucking mind. But, oh, my God, I just don't get it, man. But this is just, everybody's got a different frequency of trading. And of course, not to mention the fact that when you do pull the trigger on some big fat trade, like you just bought like a small car, you just bought like a house for 4 hours. You own this house, and you're going to try to dump it at a profit. And actually, it's better than real estate because you can dump it whenever you want. I mean, the idea that real estate, the problem there is that the closing costs, and in other words, the fees on that, the spread on that, and the time lag on that is just incredible. So Forex is the ultimate in instant gratification during news. Totally fulfilling and just wild, you know. I mean, you're just like, it's astounding how much money you could win and lose during the news. Volatility spikes and the spread increasing, and just the whole in other words, if the market just moved 100 pips and you just made $500, and then it moves 1,500 pips after that in like 3 minutes, or just does something insane, which those times are coming. As you can see, with Bitcoin falling apart and everything's just, and crude oil finally came into that hole. So everything's filling a hole right now, and kind of wrapping up at the end of the year. It's going to be pretty, but I do think Bitcoin, like I said, I'd buy Bitcoin at 1,000. I ought to accumulate that thing as it tanks. But that's pretty funny. Aha moment must have kicked in, but just I think the vacuum was just too huge. I mean, the bubble pops, and then it's like you get a dead cat bounce, and then it's just wiped out. It's just unbelievable. Yeah, NFP is pretty brutal. Yeah, NFP is not as brutal as it used to be. I don't know. People say, I'll sit there. When people first came to Forex about 4 years ago, we'd talk on the Skype and we'd say, here comes NFP, and I'd be like, well, that was kind of lackluster. That didn't really even fucking... And then out of nowhere, markets just take off. Like, I've seen more action on an Asian Open than I saw on an NFP. So it's debatable whether... of course, if the Fed's going to claim... Now, this is... people base shit on what the Fed says. If they claim, well, we're planning to raise interest rates... for the next, we're on that path, then nobody would be surprised if they raised them. And but I think a lot of people are so why does the market move so heavy when the news comes out? It's because a lot of people square out their positions before that, and you'll get dojis into the news, and then boom, and then you're just off. You can rip both ways, fill both voids, and end up unchanged with a big fat doji at the end of the day. So you're either going to wash out all that pressure, or it's going to be a slide, a creeper gear melt into a hole. Which on the daily dollar yen, started off. They got these two dojis here. You can't really. This is Sunday night, so looks a little weird. Sunday candles a little bit ridiculous. But I'm sorry, that's the month or something coming in Sunday it's a Sunday night, so it's really a fake doji. It's a 7-day chart. But like here, this closing, if you're selling at the market, it's barely up. It's your only sell at the market. I mean, but this is also, it would never work if you just ran a 10 pip stop all day. If you ran a 20 pip stop, so it's 20 pips from here to here. If you ran a 20 pip stop, you couldn't do it. So you have to have a 20, a 30, a 40, a 50, and people say, oh my God, now it's fucking complicated. No shit. I mean, if somebody comes in your store and they want those jeans, but they don't want them blue, they want them black, or they want them white. And now you got to go across your whole thing and figure out, well, if trading's a business, then you have to have all these fucking, then you have to have medium and small and extra long and all this shit. And you're tooled up for it, but then you'd have to judge, well, what does the average guy wear? And who's your market audience, right? So, and then you just kind of like, okay, get the greatest hits going here. 20 pips, stop, 30 pips, stop, 40 pips, stop. Give yourself some kind of chance to make money at it. I mean, to analyze scrutinize these fucking entries is ridiculous. You could have had buy limits here coming into Asia here, and you're already up on this fucking trade. It's so stupid. And sellers are going to come in 20 pips. So I cash out my 20 pips and reload the fucking gun, because the nice thing about the market is, and I could trade the whole thing from the long side and make money. My ratios are good. I can trade every currency pair from the long side, because when I'm doing so complicated, I got so many fucking orders pending here that so the guy said in my video, this guy from Mad Forex Trader, why don't you put sell limits up here? Well, I would if the broker let me, but I kind of donated everything I had to softening the entry here and getting my scalps in. So I kind of had to compromise that. And then, so it depends, what you can do. But yeah, I can't imagine, man. I can't imagine these people. Look at this. Now now you could just get in here. Another thing is, you could get in right now in confirmation, because we broke that 4-hour bar, and I'll bet on the 5-minute chart it's pulling back, got double bottom, right? Double bottom on the 5. You could have got in there, right? Breakout, pull back, here's the stop hunt, right? So if you had a stupid ass buy stop here and they filled you're underwater right now, and if the robot came in with a trailing stop on the half hour, he just got stopped out. Right? So this is why you couldn't run. You can't write a one-trick robot that's going to just try to scalp on the 15. It's just going to get whipsawed here in a breakout system. Now, at the market's completely different, I think. If it's literally down, I can't think of a stupider trading plan that's really good. It's down, so you're buying. It's up, you sell, buy, sell. I mean, it's pretty ridiculous, right? Every hour. And here you can kind of get whipsawed a little bit, but so here we've broke out to the upside here. Now here comes all the money management bots just going to start running stops here. Now you could be the guy that says, and trust me, there's people that are doing this turtle shit where you put a sell stop here. You get filled, you put a protection here, you write it down, you put another, you sell here again, and if this thing does what it does here, and they'll make the argument, see what it did here? Yeah, you make money, but this presupposes you're going to get the fuck out when it's down here climaxing, because you don't want to give up. If you're brave enough to sell these two ride up, and regardless if there's a channel or not. I mean, I know people are waiting for a perfect entry setup, but it's just fucking bullshit. It's just never going to happen. Market's constantly vibrating. I'm coming to Asia here, so 15 minutes before the top of the hour, it's going to get all crazy. It's going to get all crazy in here. So, but Christ, I still can't navigate this fucking drawings program after all that. So in the 4-hour chart, looks completely different than the 1-hour chart. Now, this guy's on the 5-minute chart. Now you got to understand this Forex hangout guy. He's on the 5-minute chart. Now how in the fuck? I want to take this guy aside and go, dude, put a fucking sell limit up here. You see this top? Just put a bet. This is a 4-pip window, for God's sakes. You can fucking go in super heavy there with a fucking 8-pip stop to make 16 pips. Make $160, right? And your standard lot, boom, you're out. Wouldn't you just? Isn't it just painfully fucking obvious that this top here is where you'd want to buy, right? Oh, yeah, like, what kind of stuff? You got a fucking 10-pip stop on this thing. No, the guy's like this. He's got the candles in like this. How's he doing it? It's like this. I'm like, oh my God. You can draw a trend line here. This is why people say, yeah, trend lines are bullshit. Well, yeah, they are. Because if you're going to do like this bullshit and go, well, look at this channel going up here. No, when you're looking at the market like this, I wouldn't even think about drawing a trend line on it. It's such a horizontal game. Aren't you just doing shit like this and going, wait a second. This is support. It goes below it. And there's this, okay. They've trapped the bears. And what do they do when they, or, you know, you get this perfect structural line close effect thing. Unfair value, dips in there and rips back, and what does it go after? Within 1 pip. Oh, this funniest thing was when the ICT guy goes, I can call a market with 1 pip. Well, who couldn't? Can't you see this fucking top here? This is 1 pip. Oh, that's a 2-pip window, so this is 1 pip here. But are you going to sell? And this is what the Forex hangout guy does. As soon as it closes down here, he goes, oh, there you go. See, it's going down. And maybe he sells here. But why isn't he selling at a resistance up here? And look at this thing march up the staircase. So here's the big deal, right? This 2-pip window. Double top. They grab that. They pull it back. Sounds like a baseball game, but that's about it, you know? It's just this whole fucking game of just, oh yeah, well, this is support, becomes resistance. And if you know that's true and you have a sell limit there, of course you can't place it till after it gets below. So you're always going counter to the market. You're always going against it. So we have a top bottom here. We just have to assume we got a top bottom, right? At the moment in a 2-pip window here. So this has got to crack north. This has got to crack into these things. And of course, we can take profits in here and go short. We can counter trend trade it. We can trend trade it. But you're stuck with what's going on right now. And he's on the 5-minute chart. Well, for God's fucking sake, man, why isn't he buying down here? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. He's got this thing about, well, I'm a trend trader. It's making higher highs, higher lows. I mean, the way he's looking at, I mean, it's just amazing that we could all have a different opinion about the same fucking squiggly lines. It really is hard to believe. It's like well, I guess it's like you're looking at a girl. So my guitarist in the band says, we were talking about, what's her name, Taylor Swift, and he says, oh my gosh, she's so hot. And I'm like, are you talking about the same Taylor Swift? I just don't think she's hot. She looks like some kind of Amazon avatar. I don't even, anybody hot for her? I don't, but here we're at the 30, I've got a big black line. This is supposed to be 100 pip handle up here. Let's see. Oh, fuck. I gotta look at my indicators. Yeah, that's 100 pips. Okay, so I do think this thing's hell-bent on... Now, see, they've already trapped these poor goobers up here. Trapped again. Oh, here's a trendline argument on the half hour. And I guess this... oh, I took the trend line off there. I guess if you have the patience, right, and you say, oh, well, I'm going to babysit this till it breaks. A confirmed breakout, closed above, okay, go long. I got that, right? I mean, this is valid, right? This is your classic fucking approach. And look at the channel. Perfect touch on the 30-minute. Perfect double. Like, you could have nailed that at the market on the half hour and be like, oh, yeah. Or you could have been the guy that says, I don't give a fuck about that shit. I know that this is ripe for the pickings. I'm just going to put a bunch of fucking limits down there and walk away. So you're either the guy that's going to swing trade it and you don't give a fuck, or you're going to sit there and look at the half hour and go, holy shit, we'll sell. I'm going to buy and sell that channel, and even I'm going to go further than that, and I'm going to make an Andrews Pitchfork, or I'll put a wick envelope on there like this, or I'll go Andrews Pitchfork and go, oh yeah, man, what I'll do is I'll buy here, I'll sell at the midline, buy it back here on this line, sell it here, but then now you're stuck with, are you going to trade this channel? The one that's going up to into the other channel? Are you going to trade channel to channel? So, I mean, how, are you serious? Like, so now, why not, right? Oh, I traded that half-hour channel. You know how much money I made there? It took me fucking only 2.5 hours. But what if you were the guy that was saying, wait a second, I do believe there's stops piling up here. What if I just bought this undercut and then rode it to here, when just by about 1 pip, they take out that high. To drill down, you got to really fix the scale here. So, but here, like this. And of course, this is what it really looks like. If you're in big, you kind of want to look like this. I do. Feel safer. Like, I really care about 100 pips below me right now, coming in Asia right now. And this Monday, this is going to be pretty amazing if this becomes the where you rated the we have this double top here. Even though it crushed through there, you still have what I perceive to be the most recent tops, are the most important ones, which is this one. So we can forget these ones because it's the most recent top. So there's where the support really is, and I guess I'm always going to have buy limits down here, you know, if a broker allows you to have that many tickets running. And here's the sell side, right? You're going to have to start cashing out up here. This whole thing here is itching to be filled, and then probably have some, but the problem is if you sell into it and you don't have enough money to sell all the way to this top, like this happened over here. So this is just a bid. So right there, this is right on this one particular broker. That top there, so we're looking to take that out. And here's your top bottom. So just psychologically, the people that bought here thinking it was going to go to the moon, they get out of their, they get out of break even here and they dump, right? So the smart money. But you can just see that people did that, right? They go, oh, fuck. And this is that gap opening, falling out of bed and coming into, which I would have bought that fall out of bed thing, and I would have bought it based on this half-hour chart. You're looking at this little 2-pip window here. Spread's got to be below a pip to really get filled there. Or placing orders like that. Here we go, cut north now. So if you take out this bar here on the half-hour, I'm looking for like up to here and then I can dump, sell into this. So that's the plan, Stan. We're going to sell into that. So I'll buy one more at the market. I'll chase it. Now, the thing to have done would have been to, which I wasn't here to do it, is see this this low here. So when you talk about highs and lows, I mean, this is really pretty critical. And anything below there, I would take the heat. That's 2-pip grid. I would take all that heat. I'd buy that. It'd just be a heartbreaker to have some stupid fib tool on here and not be able to get in. So here's your fib approach. Oh, I don't even think I think I might have modified that. But it would look something like this, right? This kind of bullshit. I think I just took the labels off. Look, get in right there. Oh, yeah, but I missed it. So you'd have to buy more than one ticket, though. But see, you could throw this up and say, I don't even know if that's Fibonacci on there, but you just sliced it, you know. I could say the same thing if I took any segment of this. But how long am I waiting to get... it's just a way to make a... All Fibonacci is doing is giving you an excuse to put an order in low. Making it okay to put an order in low, right? It's like, oh, it's okay to bake because I'm using an oven. I guess microwave oven cooking I don't think is, you know, the way to go for baked goods. But so here's the tall, this is the kind of the steep view of the market, and we're waiting for 5 minutes to go by here before the top of the hour. Tick-tock. 5-minute chart. So I'm going to go to the 1-hour chart. The sellers have come in through here. So there's this big, like 6-hour big block here. We just caught up into that. We're going to probably pull off of that for a little bit. That goes back quite a bit way, 6 hours. But yeah, I mean, the problem is it's a wave within a wave, so which wave are you going to surf? Which one are you going to ride? Pound looks like fragile. So on the pound, oh, it's a weekly, a 4-hour. Yeah, gosh, it looks like it's going to crash again. Pretty quiet. But this has got that same issue as the Australia. You got this big void up here. We can go screaming back into this. So here's your faint trend, but the idea is to overcome this this low here, this big giant bottom here, big fat bottom. You got to kind of overcome that for it to reject this sell-off there. That's a tipping point. Like I said, the 4-hour bots are long on the pound and the Australia right now. You could still get smashed here. So I would say, because here the sellers came in up there. I would say never want to get in too heavy, because before London opens, you could come whipping down into this stuff. I kind of just have to wait, unfortunately, at 2 minutes before top of the hour. I'd definitely buy it if it plunged some more. Look at this fucking currency pair. Look at this bullshit. Now this is the I don't even know if this chart's even right. Look how rangy that thing is. What the hell's going on there? Bad data? I think I do. Look at this fucking, I call this the cage. This is from Seconds Out. Let's see, the 15-minute dollar CAD. Wow. What a mess. You really gonna tell me you're gonna put a fucking Gartley on this thing and make money? I gotta see that. So we got a pop here on the Australian. I think they got this programmed even. I'll put some manual tickets in here. So I think it's just, you know, you trade like Samurai Trader, you know, he flips accounts. Just go like this and just cross your fingers, you know. This thing's leaving the station. Looks like it's going to join the Australian train. That's quite a breakout. Look at this daily. Look at this void itching to get filled on New Zealand. Holy shit. Wow. I like when people have stuff in these trade books. Well, this is a saucer bottom. Yeah, it's better if you bought the very bottom of the saucer down here, though. That's one of them saucer bottoms. And think about the poor guy waiting for the break of this trend line. He's like, I'm not buying until it breaks straight. What? Look at him. See, here's where you get clobbered. Oh, broke trend line. I got in. Oof. How'd that work out? Oh, well, I got here. Broke trend line. Got horizontal views. Horizontal views less. It's just better to go with the structure shit here. Top become a bottom. Yeah, you could put a trend line on here, but now you're locking in this rate of momentum here, saying it's going to continue like this. This is ridiculous. If you're going to trade against that and say I'm expecting that to break, because I think the only thing that matters in these markets is this high and this high that was broke up, pulled back to that, and that's all that matters. I mean, if you sold into this, you've had one day to take profits. Like it just kind of came flying off this 40 pips down off the top. I'm presupposing you put your sell limits in this hole here, so you'd just be at break even on that. Now you're probably gonna have to buy it back, and this is your only money making ticket, was to sell that 20 pip window there for a cutback. But even if you're not in, see, you can trade this any direction. So even for me, the easiest trade I can think of is just putting a buy limit grid in there. This yen looks like it's going to collapse down on the monthly. And weekly it just looks like a place to buy on a pullback. Daily's just fucking completely. So it's easy when you look at this. I just put a moving average on high and lows. You can see the volatility so clearly that you don't need an ATR. You can see this is the smallest bar right here, and your buy stop bot got trapped, but your sell stop bot just got in nice. And then if you could tell it to get out here and get out here, simply go back along here, and then this is going to be your exit. Trying to make 40 pips on that. Look at this thing, man. It's 20 pip window down here. So you could say, well, this is the top, you come to the bottom, but they cut through it. On the daily, they cut through it, and it did make it back to this one. So you can't just rely on that. You have to give the market at least 20 to, on a daily chart, you got to give it at least 40 pips of fill here. Well, I just don't know how you can just cut it that thin. I mean, Gartley's have people drawing this shit out to like the decimal point. That's ridiculous. Look at that pound. What a mess. How's your moving averages doing on that pound? Oh, God, yeah. What a mess. So, yeah, dollar yen's coming off the mat. 5 minutes after. Here comes a 5 minute psycho trader. So low volatility last 5 minutes here. They trapped all these breakout traders on this turn. I got them trapped. Okay. Yeah, because they're like, well, we're going to buy this new high here. I put a buy stop there, Joe. We're filled. We're long. I hope it's not what you did earlier tonight when you put that sell stop down here. Oh, okay, well, I guess we're flat. I guess we're getting whipsawed. Jed says he thinks we should put an order just down here to get in a limit. I think it's so funny, this confirmation entry. It's so cute. To me, this is anything under here is unfair value for the next 20 hours, right? It's like a big fight, big battle zone. Yeah, anything can happen. That's the nice thing about these markets, man. Anything can happen. Okay, what's the next problem here? That cannot be correct data. It's all butchered in here. Look at they got the bears got filled up here on that 1 hour Australian dollar. Look at that. Look how hard that thing turns at the hour. Oof. Fucking gap down. Look at that poor thing. The broker went offline. The broker goes offline all the time. Not for that long. Let's see. So how about that Bitcoin? Anybody buy Bitcoin at like 15,000? They're just, oh my God. Look at the US bit went nuts. Of course, right? Opposite game. I'm gonna buy some right here at the market. I might have overloaded the account. Yeah, you knew it was going to happen. Oof. How'd you know, Joe? Well, I got the moving average says it's going down. Did you see what I'm talking about? The moving averages work all the time. You talking about? Fucking moving averages work like a jam. Get no better than that. Wow, that thing just looks like it's hell-bent on this price, doesn't it? Am I going to be able to fix the scale now? Oof. Nope. Right down here. Wow, this is going to be some kind of crazy shit. That should make the newspaper. I can't wait to see the guys on TV, the attorneys. And if you were involved in the Bitcoin scandal, The class action lawsuits. Oof. Did anybody see that Cernovich guy where he was just buying Bitcoin like a whore? What's with these people? Leave the trading to traders. We know these fucking markets. Litecoins going deep discount. Oh boy. I kind of like that candlestick chart there. Feel very... Ethereum's going deep dive. They all look the same. I think when this gets to about 100, I'll buy it, and when that Litecoin gets to like $20, 25. Look at this Australian CAD. I went short on that. I'm underwater on that. I should wait for that to come back down. They just clipped off the top of this on the weekly, so I'd hold that even though I'm in a loss. So that's another psychological problem, is that you're underwater in the trade and you're like, dude, if that thing comes back, I will be fucking up in the account. Like, and this is why people do get the fuck out there, and then it goes the other way. They're like, dude, just hold on till it goes. I mean, you can, and look at this top bottom failure on this weekly. So here's your failure of a bottom becoming a top. Oh yeah, it's a trend trade, man. Oh yeah, Jimmy Bob's got his channel thing, and he says that it's a perfect setup. It's a bottom becoming a top in the channel, dude. It's no brainer. Sell. So it did not work out too good. But I'm looking at this factor here. The big picture is, to me, on this weekly, is, yeah, anything down here, if you could afford to gobble that up, you're up on every ticket. If you could afford that much 500 pip stops, and you lost about the first 2 tickets of that, you might have got stopped out. If you could just imagine trading that fucking big, that's, I mean, that wide of a stop, that's incredible. You can make so much fucking money. So many pips. You can make so many fucking pips. See, if you sold up this, well, look at how much fucking pips you made. If you sell trap to trap. So now you're short on scalps. That's the weekly. On the daily, it'll come down a little bit. But I'll tell you what, that thing's hell bent, man. This Australian dollar, all of a sudden the Australians look like sane people. Now you can make all sorts of arguments of why the Australian dollar is going up. You could say, yeah, you know what? Maybe these people, you could make the argument there's no drama over there. You know? And the turmoil, there's nobody storming their border. All of a sudden it looks like the place to go. I remember when New Zealand was down at 50 cents. People were like, dude, New Zealand. And it went all the way almost to $1. Gold looks like it's ready to make a move up now. We got a top bottom there. So this is my torturous chart that has no line. But if you look at this as your top bottom on gold, yeah, you could drift up to here. It's going to have a hell of a time getting over this fucking price. And you could have sold into gold on the weekly. If you can handle this much punishment, once it took out that weekly, it was done. It was like, oh, that's like fucking 10 weeks. 10 weeks of nonsense. Okay. Yeah, so it looks like the pound's gonna crush the euro here. I'm gonna buy this Euro yen on a pullback. I think they could pull it back. So here's the I can't look at all these currency pairs. Look at this fucking thing. Pound New Zealand. Wow. Looks like it's ready to tank again. Oof. I don't know, man. I must say, I definitely like going against the crowd. I have to say I'd be long and underwater right now. I would have bought everything below here. No brainer. This would have been your scalp, was to buy here. Kind of had to dump it. You had like 1 day to take your money and run. And they just annihilated you. But if you trade with a little bit of goober in you, and you have your stupid ass fucking goober stops here, like you could be like that guy, like Mr. Magoo, doesn't have a clue what's going on. He's just like, oh, no, just put my sell stop in, my buy stop in. Like, I don't understand what you guys are talking about. Just found myself in a bunch of profits. Just like the only narrow. Oof. Well, they just stopped everybody. So I bought that on limits. Buying that at the market, actually. I gotta get my press my button here. I'm just buying like a 30K at the market, I think. Yeah. Okay. I don't know what to say. This does look, they're both going up. I don't know what to tell you. By the bottom of the hour, things will be crazy, and then an hour from then, things will be fucking nuts. And then I would say we'll get a blast, like a 2-hour blast, maybe drift into London. Then I like to get out just before London opens. So if it's going to finish off some psychosis, I like to go flat into London. Actually, I'll just go flat when they hit my target. So this is obviously the issue. We got to start cutting into this thing. So here's why the robot can't make money, because he just got his filled here and then they got stopped out. Right. The market. The more the market's down, the more you're going to buy, or the wider stop you're going to buy. So here, the half-hour robot, you have to have more than one robot. If it's down big, it buys. If it's down more than 4 pips in a half hour, it buys. If you can imagine designing that robot. And if it's down, so it buys here with a, say a 20 pip stop, and here it buys with a 30 pip stop because it's really down. And it doesn't really buy these slightly down bars. It only buys big hard down ones. So here and here, you know, and you would have had to survive the market. Well, at least to here. Now this is the other problem with trading, is that you could have cashed out here and taken your money and left, or you could have waited all the way till it made it back to here and got out, and you had a chance to get out here. So if you bought here and then it's down really big, you buy, and then you just realize, oh boy, dead cat bounce, and then. So I am long this, and I bought this whole mess down here. Now I'm looking for the Australia. Maybe there's news coming out of Australia or something. I don't know. Is anybody into that Forex factory shit? I quit watching it. I love how these people do this whole thing about, well, take a look at the news coming up next week. I'm like, what the fuck does that matter, dude? I mean, it doesn't fucking matter. If the news comes out, there's a high probability, no matter what the news is, that this whole area up here is going to be a serious issue. And then, of course, we've already dipped into it now. So I just don't see it. Like, if there's news coming out, I mean, I can just see this thing go ripping right now, like that. And it would we got a high probability that the structure is going to hold up. Because if there's people in these markets, you know, this right here, this bottom is the deal, right? Last known bottom. And we got to overcome that. But we have, if you bought down here at these psychotic fresh lows, I would be adding to it here. If in a half hour from now, so the bottom of the hour, if it's down, I'll just buy at the market. Because then I'm not breaking a rule of buy low, sell high. And of course, buy low would mean it's down by. So trading is so crude that it's kind of, people try to save themselves from the risk by putting on complex systems. And they can say that they trade Ikamushu Cloud, which it sounds really good, you know, if you're out at the bar trying to pick up the titty dancers. Hey, babe, she bends over. You know what I do? No, what do you do? You ever heard Ikamushu Cloud? It's like, oh my God, just buy me a drink. Shut up. No, Ikamushu Cloud. Have you seen my bank balance from cloud trading? She's like, oh. See, now that's, oh, you trade VPS servers? No. How do you even describe it, right? So it's only Monday. Some guy said one night, should we be trading on Monday? What used to drive me nuts in these chat rooms and stuff, people, well, I'm going to kind of wait till the news comes out. I'll see what the news says. I'll see what the big boys do first. See what the big boys do. Follow the big money. This guy keeps sending me. This guy that I got on this list. Come watch our webinar. I'll show you how to use our canned indicator. I guess that could work for somebody. Somebody in a mental institution. Right? Somebody with a drill cup and a straitjacket. They'd be all into that. Okay, I'm waiting for both the Australian dollar and the euro dollar to pop. Not at the same time, though. Looking for a bang bang effect. Yeah, so wow, what about this crude oil? How about this thing? I'm thinking that can't bounce right now in crude. So I put all these things in ahead of time. Those would be my orders, just based on looking back into these. So this is better than Fibonacci because this is really a liquidity. This is a stop hunt part, right? Liquidity stop hunt, same thing. But I don't know if this, because now the contention is going to be here. If you're buying this, you're forced to get out here now. So the structure's been spelled out where all the resistance will be coming back as all the recent lows will become resistance. Of course, that's a weekly chart. I still think that this was an amazing. Had you placed buy limits here, and this is actually where the party got started for this whole run, was this top become a bottom in the weekly and crude, and then it was off to the races, and then of course you have to revisit the scene of the crime there. Doesn't mean it can't just do a dead cat bounce. Come up here a little bit and then just kind of keep melting down. I don't know if it can keep up this velocity though. Classic trap up here. Just unbelievable. And I can only imagine what the news was here. I'd love to get the newspaper from this week and from this one here as you come into this hole. It's fucking crack you up. And the biggest boys in the world, well, maybe they're putting out fake news. Right, they're putting out, what do you call it? Controlled opposition news. Right, there's always that argument. So I'm buying the pound on limits if it smashes down below 128. That Brexit thing, I mean, I just can't even imagine. Can you imagine if you had to think about that stuff? Well, how do you think that Brexit will affect the British pound? I don't know, man. Give Fibonacci tool out. Get back to you. Crude oil. This is because they killed that news guy. That's why that's going down. Can't you see? Edith. Get Edith over here. Hey, Arch. Look, oil's going down. Yeah, it's because them fucking towel heads. Right, bottom of the hour's coming up. I don't know. Probably get copyright flagged from my CT from running that thing. You know, the ETA, the ETR, EA. Well, you know, the thing is that I don't know how to write code, so I just gave up on it. In other words, it was like having a car that's stuck in first gear. And sure, it'll take you down to the grocery store, but it's really bad on gas. I don't know how to write it. Can you try to scalp 2-3 pips though? I guess you could make 2 or 3 pips, but you're so close to the market. How can you trade with a 3 pip stop? Aren't you nerve wracked? Yeah, you know, so the limit grids, I was looking at them again today, and I must say that the limit grid is kind of, you got to be careful. Yeah, Bitcoin is a train wreck. What happened to Bitcoin, man? Yeah, it's, God, I mean, this is finally we got some drama in these markets. Look at this euro versus pound. It's the Brexit, man. Can't you see it? Look at this stopping. Look how they stopped into this big monster low here. Oof. 50 pip zone there, and then they just ripped that thing north for 200 pips. Insane. Oh, God. Yeah, so poor Bitcoin. I had the, is it Tether? Somebody was, so there was people talking about, I don't even know, that's now, Tether rides, they were saying how Tether was tipping over the edge, but look at this ruble to the dollar. I remember this move here. I remember that 2 years ago, the ruble. That was insane. Look at the Bitcoin still melting down tonight. Bye-bye. Oh, it's a sell here. Look at, oh, fuck. Here, I got it. Look at this thing. Oh, my God. Look at that 4-hour chart of Bitcoin. What a fucking pounding. So, how do you explain this move? Real easy. Like, this was the huge fucking vacuum of all vacuums right here. Look at that fucker. And then, actually, I would say the mini vac just before that. It's a real bitch to draw in this tight, but right here. Now, you got to zoom this in now and go to the fucking daily just to find that shit. Oh, you bitch. Oh. Meditator's really acting up. It can't handle this Bitcoin data. It just never works out, man. You gotta change the scale back and forth just to get it to look at. So here's the big deal. As soon as it hit this thing, now you got to go down to the if you saw the tick chart during this phase, just imagine the amount of new sellers there, and just the amount of stops in that zone. See if I can track it down. So I've got the marked off. Look, I just sliced through that. Like, it didn't even fucking... It's like through butter, hot knife through butter. Wow. See, that moving average does work. Look at... I sold it, the moving average. Don't tell me those moving averages don't work. Look at... See, the problem is, though, were you prepared for this big of a move? And that's a completely... this took 8 hours. This took all day. Isn't that amazing? It's like a day and a half there. Look at this fleeting moment. If you had a sell limit sitting in here, you could have even got in like an idiot on sell stops here. The volatility dried up. It formed a triangle. So the triangle is just a representation of a lack of volatility. And then kaboomoid. Wow. Oof. Definitely, if I'm long, I'm going to dump here. So I put these orders in ahead of time. I can perceive the vacuum. Look at this mother. Look at a beast of that Bitcoin. What a heartbreaker. All the way back to this top, or all the way back to this monthly top. Wow. Unbelievable punishment. Disconnected my chat. God, what a bruiser of a move. God, brutal. I don't think it's done tanking. So yeah, what's up for the look? Even the euros. See, the Bitcoin's the same against the. It's all against the same. That's the euro. All look the same. So what is the next? Here comes the Australian dollar coming back off the mat. I'm looking for the yen to follow. So I get a two-bang approach tonight. Double banger. I'm not going to try to judge it because this dollar, you know, I've tried to play that game, you know, oh, dollar Swiss against the euro dollar should go the other way. Yeah, it doesn't always correlate. And then next thing you know, you blew up the fucking account. It does look like the dollar Swiss is going to tank now. They trapped all these poor people up here at the top. Look at that. Look at that, right to the round. Went to par and came ripping back. Can't get above this window up here. And one last part of the trend there. So I think the dollar and the crude oil is so cheap right now. Does that mean the dollar's strong? I don't know. Can you take the dollar and the Swiss and the crude's down? The dollar should be up. It's a problem. I know people that make these correlations and stuff. I talk to them. But this is like people that say, oh yeah, her horoscope sign is X and mine's X. We should be making like babies. Like, it's a no-brainer. I don't think you can do that. Okay, so looking for Australia. I bought more Australian on that pullback, and then I'm waiting for this guy to come up to the dollar. Yeah, as soon as it gets to probably this rooftop here, I'm gonna probably dump. And then I'll just throw in buy limits beneath that and just trade it from a more high frequency approach. So once I make money in 4 hours or 1 hour, if I can make money in 1 hour, or 4 hours, I would dump it, reload, just go flat, and then just put some more limits in. Because the frequency of being in and out, Well, it's not, you can be always in a position, but it may be disorientating to think about being 30% long and 70% short. You may not like that. There's so many problems with, this is what the Forex Hangout guy is, the fact that he's inflexible as far as, he just can't test that idea out because he's too careful. He cares too much. I don't think he can just experiment like that. But like I said, he doesn't need the money, so it's not like he's gonna buy a new house or something, and he's got to perform. So if you have a gun to your head, would you trade different? Maybe, would you trade better? The pressure. Then some people, they want to be in some chat room so they can, people, I guess they want to just see what it's like through somebody else's eyes, and the only way to do that is to go in some chat room and say, oh, your chart. But then I'm astounded when people will send you the chart. In other words, they'll say stuff about the market, and then they send you a chart, and you're like, holy fuck me. Where are you getting this idea? I mean, like, huh? Like, I mean, it's amazing. People, I'm buying it. And the reason for buying is kind of like, well, it's the same reason that you had to molest the girl at the coffee shop, Just like a impulse move. So I was listening to Jordan Peterson talk about he's a psychologist, so he's really getting in trouble trying to be more than a psychologist, more than a liberal psychologist. So he said this thing about there's people that are on such a level that they just reach out and touch everything. They have to touch everything. So I'm going through the store the other day, and this little kid, she must have been 8 years old. She had to touch every fucking thing, and I thought, I don't know. She's one of these retarded kids. She was punching the movie stars, the cardboard movie stars. She gave him a punch. I thought, God, I wonder if her mom's like. It was that gay blonde-haired girl on TV, Ellen. So there's a picture of Ellen, and she's punching it. It's so weird. She just gave it a tap. But then she touched everything else, so I thought, well, I don't know if she was 8-year-old political kid thinking, oh, yeah, that fucking bitch I see on TV band. But she punched the black girl, and she punched another girl, another kind of somewhat famous person. I think she better be watching First Shooter games or something. Are girls allowed to watch that? Can you imagine that? A bunch of pissed off women with First Shooter intentions. Why aren't the women out? What happened to Women's Lib? How come they're not shooting these fucking places up? Where's the chick taking down a school? Some Rambo chick. The girl from that Japanese action figure girl. What's her name? Toma or something? I'm still waiting for this fucking dollar yen to go up already. Come on, people. I have no patience for these fucking traders. Come on, make this thing go up already. Can't they fucking see him in the trade? Don't they know who I am? Oh, God, to hear that ICT guy go on about, if I tell you, I gotta kill you. He's so cute. Oh, man. Yeah, so it's going to be the holidays here. Markets will be thin, man. I could see this thing screaming up into the end of the year here. You could see some crazy shit. They're trading that Bitcoin at the fucking. That's another reason why it's kind of. Well, let's see. There's maybe more people trading it on the exchange, and then now that it's an exchange, they can short it easier than having to go through a Bitcoin broker, since it's actually be traded at a real exchange. Maybe more people are going to sell it. I can use up all my buy buttons on this thing. These are old scripts. They crash the system. Yeah, I don't know if you could get a more boring way to make money. I know the market profile. You ever looked at market profile? It looks really cool. I'm not going to say this stuff doesn't look sexy, but it seriously does not. It does not help, I don't think. It doesn't help you figure out how big a diaper you're going to have to wear taking those trades. You shit your pants to pieces. Looks like the pound's going to melt down a little bit. I'm going to buy it on dips. So I figured that this will be one of those Australia up, pound down, euro down, dollar yen up. So I'm dollar yen. I'm pretty bullish here on this move up into here. I'm trying to make back my losses. And or just, ride the storm out. I put a really wide stop in, so I was prepared for the punishment. But I'm looking for the Australia to follow the dollar yen for God knows why. Of course, you can make the argument here, like you can on any chart, that you got to be, at least you got to be before the trend line break. So that's another thing, is that if you're waiting for that trend line break to get in, okay, maybe, but why? Wouldn't you just buy on limits, buy at the market, and buy on stops? I mean, get a balanced diet of tickets, right? I think that's the way to go. Diversify your entry. Yeah, pound looks like it's ready to tank. So does the euro. This pound looks itching to tank, especially on the daily. It looks like, oh my God, it's had it. Wow. It's crazy, man. Of course, I don't know, the euro looks pretty good. If it goes down to here, I buy it on this top. It could still cut through that. I'd much rather buy the if it plunges into that hole. Yeah, we'll put a few tickets down here. Give it the 8-hour limit. So I got all sorts of different time scripts, but some of these are not realistic. Like, if I put an order down here that lasts for 15 minutes, if I put a 15-minute deep order, and it's got to be almost like right here. 15-minute order down here is kind of ridiculous. Maybe 2 hours. So if I had this hole here, I would set a whole trap here that maybe lasts just like maybe 6 hours just before London Open. If it spikes down there, you're kind of setting all this. So if you're going to plan stuff out and not be a performance trader, in other words, if you're not going to sit here and press the button when it falls in this hole, then you would plan everything out in these sectors and get in on the get in when the market is falling into your pendings. Or are you gonna like, oh my God, I'm buying this hammer, holy shit, like you're sitting right here babysitting this fucker, which is the performance aspect, right? And you're like, oh dude, I just bought that fucking thing, you're holding it and maybe cash out up in the here. And I guess it depends how you want to approach it, if you want it to be a sport. Yeah, that pound looks like it could definitely drop a few pips. So definitely with a 100 pip stop, risking $10 per trade, you're pretty flexible. I'm surprised the Forex Hangout guy hasn't figured that out, that if you just put 1Ks in there with 100 pip stops, that he could cover so much area and make so much fucking money without having to even know where the market's going. Like, if you just are buying here, it's just, I don't know, it just seems so easy to trade against the money management systems. They're going to run their tight stops, or they're going to run their stops X amount of bars back. If you pick up those tickets at a deep discount, the market plunges. But I guess it does go against everybody. And when you're in these chat rooms, people are like, I'm buying. I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm going to do it. And maybe people don't want to go against somebody they think knows what's going on or something. Like the sellers. So here's the big challenge right here. So the sellers already came in there. You can see it backing off. Got to get through that line. That's a big quadruple bottom there. Trapped underwater. So it's backing off a little bit there. We expect that, right? So gosh, yeah, well, it's a pretty tame night. It's mellow. Yeah, so is the world coming to an end? Are you going to buy Bitcoin when it goes to 1,000? Get a deal on it. Give me some of that Bitcoin, son. What you sitting on them big piles of Bitcoin for? Yeah, I don't know. What's the future hold here? The world coming to an end? Yeah, that fucking dollar yen got beat up, didn't it? Looks like crude oil for some reason. Chart died. Natural gas took a big spike. Look at that. Wow. That should make oil go up. That should make oil, and you'd think that would make gold go up. Natural gas is the big cash crop of the United States. Look at that thing go. It filled that hole. Wow. What a bruiser. That's quite a chart. This kind of reminds me of coca and gold. Looks like natural gas could just take a run. Isn't this the ultimate crush down here at $2? Good Lord. That thing's ready for a wrap. It seems to me. Okay, we got, what do we got here? Got the Dow yen struggling to jump the creek. gotta jump over the railing. It's tentative. Yeah, so I guess they don't have Thanksgiving over in Europe. Yeah, Bitcoin Weekly is just ridiculous, man. It's all ridiculous. I don't know what they're saying about the markets. Wow, look at this French stock market. Never made it above that high from way back. Amazing. Boy, that thing looks like it's just going to fall in that hole. All the stock markets in the world are going to sell off into this big hole. What do we got? Yeah, it's pretty equalization process. Even the guppy looks like it's ready for a romp to the north. All the way down to these, boy, the guppy, deep discount. Yeah, they'll probably keep printing more yen. I think the yen's going to be the thing they print the shit out of. If you're looking at a fundamental view. It's my cage fighter system. Got to overcome that low, engulf it. It looks more likely here. So if you're looking for this setup and you're claiming, oh, well, I'm going to get in here and sell at this bottom, becomes the top. Okay, but if you go the 4 hour, that looks ridiculous. It just is ridiculous. It looks more possible here, it's going to sell off. But here it looks like, oh, forget about it. It's just going to fucking rip. I guess you gotta wait for this 4 hour chart to update. I got 9 minutes before the top of the hour. Go to the 1 hour chart. Guru bots are long here on this small bar. Yeah, I don't know if you know anybody that writes code. I mean, it's a pretty simple rule set. You get to write about 10 to 20 robots. You have each robot has its own unique exit. Might have to have a trailing stop in there. It's a lot of work. I think it's easier to just manual trade. Even if you're trading 10K per ticket, you can pretty much set those tickets out there and overcome a robot's blind view. As robots are blind, they only see one criteria at a time. Or maybe they see multiple criteria, but I think if you have a breakout bot, not directional breakout bot, that's easier to build than a directional breakout bot, because how are you going to tell it which way to go? It's ridiculous. You could do that. So you would have the robot do shit you wouldn't want to do. Monotonous shit like putting buy stops, sell stops on narrow bars. You still need a person to trade. Like, you can't just phone it in. You could probably trade against yourself a little bit, or you could use a EA. I'm sure there's a money management trailing EA that would run. So if you went to sleep and the market went in your favor, you could let that thing just kind of like take you out with profits. I mean, you'll never go. They say you'll never go poor taking a profit, but you're also not making as much money supposedly, so you're not really maximizing your profits, you know, on and on. For the purest view of trading, you know, the Puritan Victorian view. So, you know, I mean, you could buy the guppy here and say, hey, I'm waiting for it to take out this high, and if you waited and it took out that high, and you're like, oh yeah, can't you see the fucking weekly chart? Like, oh my god, dude, if they take that out, they're gonna come up into here. And then the bears would say, yeah, if they take this out, they're gonna go dip into this hole. So, you know, at the moment, the guy that's buying new lows like me, the guy that wants to get in at deep discount for a dead cat bounce, I'm buying this. A lot of people are going to get out here, the last known low. A large majority of goobers and gooberettes. And that'd be a perfectly good trade. But I think it's cool if you can scale out of these things. And be almost flat by the time it comes to here, and then you can decide whether or not you're gonna, like for me, I think I'd dump everything here and just put in limits behind the market, underneath the market, as I'm planning on it to come back and retest. Of course, that's a daily chart, so we got 5 minutes before the top of the hour. I'll go to the hourly chart here. Looking for some rambunctious rally. The pound and the Australian dollar and the dollar yen. New Zealand's already popped its cork. That's quite the fill. I feel this big wedge, big triangular void's been filled up. Pound looks like it's going to crawl down. Euro dollar looks like it's going to fall down into this thing. I'll just pick it up on limits. So ideally, one currency goes up, cashes out, the other guy starts getting filled. Perfect plate spinning scenario. Here we go, we're cutting through the, looking for a quick pop through all this, and then I start putting my sell limits up here for some type of bounce back. It's also a big round number right here. Not that that matters, just using it for math. I just don't think the market can respect anything. Trend lines, maybe it doesn't respect it. You may think it does because it lands there by happen chance, randomly ends up there. I think it's just this, to me it's the filling of the hole. So if I could go and put max date on here, go way out on the monthlies, it's quite a wild example of there's this big hole here back in 2009. So New Zealand comes down into this thing, and holy shit, look at that, what a move. Look at this trap up here. Oh, well, let's see what the newspaper said right there. Look at the beginning of the year. So this is like it's going to take out this triple bottom. No more sellers coming in here. I try to close into that. Close that gap there. But this thing's definitely sellers that come in here and scalp that. But the weekly traders would probably be buying here at this double top. Or selling into here to get out, take the profits there. I don't have these stacked, but you can see that this is like the leader of the pack, I think. This is just pullback for one day. This thing's itching to fill this hole. That's the whole year this thing's been tanking. It's just incredible. What a year. What a year, man. Look at this. I mean, from this trap up here, from this insane high within 40 pips of window, and then just down this staircase of bottom become top shit, a little sloppy here. See, here's an example where the lows and the highs, you got 3 lows here and a closing low becomes a top, and that it's only for the wick though. It doesn't close there, so you kind of forced to sell at the market on your market orders. Look at this spectacular, just forever torturing the trend trader. Or the guy with the lagging formula. I hate this dollar CAD. Look at this fucking mess. Looks like it's creeping north though. I want this pound to go down and this euro to go down so I can pick it up on the plunge. Okay. There's the top of the hour. That's the nice thing about the hourly charts. They're just so fucking boring. They're wonderfully boring. Even the 1 hour chart here, just look what a mess this is. They're just stalled out now. The breakout bot just put a buy stop and a sell stop there based on a small bar last hour. That's how that system would go. Got doji, small bar. We go long if it goes up. Yeah, it's a quiet night. It's Monday night. But it's a short week, so why not trade it on the way down? Yeah, I guess I could. Sell it right here. You'd have to sell right now on the 4 hour. You could. I don't have a lot of sell. Let me see if I got a sell available here. Or if I have this keyboard hooked up. Let me see if I got this even turned on to even trade automated. I should trade automated. I'm not good at selling. I wrote so many buys. I kind of think that if you sold this, you're only going to make about 20 pips. You're going to have to get out here on something. It's so difficult to write the buy and sell scripts, to write the so this would be my sell at the market here. We just sold the 10K at the market. This is the take profit. That's the stop. Now the question is, do you put in a Goober confirmation ticket, which looks like this? Holy shit. Oh, those are sell stops. No, those are buy stops. What is that? That's sell stops. That's just a huge array. That's a scalp. Monster scalp. What that's doing is putting in. I think this one is, of course, these are not perfectly symmetrical tickets. So it's hard. It'll take you about an hour, 2 hours to write the buy and sell side of an elaborate. So this is pretty elaborate. This is these are all sell stops. They're all 10Ks, and they're all really they're all scalps. This is going to sell 0.3 of a pip below the bid. This is 1.2 pips below the bid. And we're going to run a 3.3 stop. We're looking to make 9 pips. So that's pending right now. It's just waiting to get filled here on the euro. And I sold one at the market. Down $1.20 because I'm down commissions. So yeah, this is really just got filled on the sell stops. She's going to tank about 20 pips. It's ready to cash out. Look at this scalp. So this is really so close to the market, and it's going to cash out immediately. So it's putting in like 80K. So on the 5-minute chart, it's got to keep tanking now. It's got to go down the tubes for you to make money on this. So the question is, do you sell it here, or do you buy it lower? I guess it just matters. It's like jump rope. Where do you get in? Because it kind of doesn't matter. You're either waiting to get filled or you're waiting to get out of a winning trade. And you would be trading in the opposite direction. Really looking for this to tank. And so the buyers are looking for it to tank too. Into, let's say, here, so they can buy it for a bounce. But as soon as it gets here, I should be cashing out of something. As soon as it gets into that window there, because it'll be the first time that the buyers come in, I think. Pretty heavy right there. So let's see what this ticket, this could be okay, here's buy limits that are getting in 1.5 pips deep. So I'm short. Now I'm going to buy it back right there. So I'm short into the long, and I'm cashing out here, go flat, then pick up some of that. This is like a super deep one. So this is just, now for instance, this is this double click here is going to put in really deep orders that last maybe a long time, maybe 6 hours. So you could just go, you could do anything. You could do the most crazy trade plan. That's just so, I mean, planned way out, and have it down to one click and just run the same stupid fucking order plan every day. And whatever candidate, whatever currency, like if you want to buy catch a falling knife, you know, you just canvas some area like this. Okay, Here you go. Okay, next currency. So this is what I do on my tablet, because I can just go from currency to currency and just go, all right, I think I'm going to buy this. Okay, next problem. And maybe that lasts 4 hours, and I'm going to come back and keep reloading that same trade plan. This looks like they trapped these guys, so here's a super tight buy limit right there. So that little ticket there, that little group of tickets, in one click. Now, to have a robot launch that, I do have a script tester where I can run that, and it just keeps running, but it'll just blow up the account because, or just bleed it because it's got to be contextual. You can't just run that script when the news comes out. You wouldn't be buying on shell limits if the news came out. It'd be better to actually trade like a goober when the news comes out and just bracket the fucking market before it breaks out. Granted, you're going to get trapped on some bad trades, but the thing is that overall, if you have really good ratios and you're expecting a lot of drama when the news comes out, that you'll make money. And if you have a grid that's spaced 50 pips apart for 15 minutes, so you have the ability to write a script that only lasts a half hour that's 300 pips deep compared to something that lasts 3 hours that's 5 pips deep. It's more likely you're going to get filled in 3 hours 5 pips deep. And that's just the fill side and how tight a stop and where you take profit on that one. And do you want to just put a blanket orders in there, or do you want to get very precise? It's just a matter of taste, really. Anybody can make money as long as they participate. You really can't do it if you're just analyze it to death and then you just walk away and go, I don't know, this ain't a good trade. I think the cruder the system, it should be easy to make a robot out of that. Most robots I see are very complicated. They're looking at MACD and all this shit and making composite decisions. I think that's always a good idea. As I think that's a little bit too, it's too many filters, and you're really missing some of the obvious trades that I guess a human can see the holes in the market. I don't know if a robot can see that stuff. I just kind of have a feeling that this artificial intelligence, I remember they came out with neural nets, and this is years ago, and they put them back in the magazine. Neural net traders, neural net. When I heard that, I go, you know what? You fucking kidding me, right? Next thing you're tell me this robot wrote a song. But they actually, you can get a robot that just plays songs, random songs, cliche fucking songs. I don't know what that would be like Milli Vanilli if you became famous with some fucking robot trash EA songs. Turns out this guy's the whole time he's been using a robot to play them hit songs. He'd be sued by all the real baggy pants starving artists are coming in, picketing you. They're yelling at you at the coffee shop, making your life a living hell. They're robot shaming you. Oh, looks like I'm wrong, see? Should just bust you. Now they're gonna rip my face off now. It's going up. I guess I'm gonna buy. So here I would buy at the market. Correct my mistake there. Put these stupid buy stops in like this. I buy one at the market here. Yeah, it looks like Australia is ready to pop. I don't know about this dollar yen is all getting all lazy here at the breakout point. It's just never moved fast. You're streaming this stuff. It's so boring in Asia. we go. Inverted hammer on the 1 hour dollar, Australian dollar. Yeah, you can put sell limits up there. Thing is, I think I've got it programmed, or I could do some. There's no drops on this one. I got no single drops on here. So I have to, got to, I've got them in here. There's sell limits here. I just put them in manually like this. So now, if trade without stops, of course, you have to come back and add stops to this shit. But I would just put sell limits just up here. So this is how bad trading is. This is how boring it is, really, honestly. It's so sad. It's just not... I really thought it was going to be like Gartley's and Market Profile and Ikamushu's. I thought it was going to be like, dude, I got 5... You should see my... Come here, watch this. Got 4 monitors just on Ikamushu clouds with fucking fluorescent lighting in the room. You guys see this fucking trade I'm in. But then it turned out that there's no glamour, really. It's just so unglamorous. This is price action trading. Okay, so here comes the big bottom of the hour. I guess Sydney opens up. Of course, we always fuck with the clocks here. We're back to normal time. We were on daylight savings time kind of fantasy tour of fake time. Fake news, fake time. I like how daylight savings time is being questioned after all these years. Yeah, maybe that's not a good idea. Fucking with the clocks? Jesus Christ. There's always a car crash when they change the clocks. These people can't fucking... if everyone's a Forex trader, they can manage it, right? I mean, if you trade Forex, it's kind of like being in a fight all day long. Here, okay, 15 minutes to go. Let's take a look at the 15-minute chart. Oh, it looks like the buyers came in. Oof, look at that walk down on the 15. Damn, they just walked that, gently walked that down into my buy zone. Now, let's see here. Oh, boy. I don't know. It's tempting to buy here. Buy me a little euro. See, I was shorted that thing. They're raping me. But that script that I dropped earlier only lasts for 15 minutes, I think. That sell stop. So that was another nice thing about confirmation entry is that no risk, no harm, no fill. So no risk. We didn't get picked up on that ticket. This looks like they're hell-bent to go up, so I'm going to buy at the market here. My little scalp tickets. We're looking for a ride. I don't think any of this is going to move in concert. The other disturbing thing about Forex is that none of these things correlate. They kind of do. There's a little bit of a sympathy move, but I don't really feel like there's a lockstep move to any of these things. And I always wanted there to be a reason why I should do something, and I thought, well, hey, look at the bottom of the hour, there's going to be all sorts of stuff. Is there news coming out? We got to take a look at that. God, Bitcoin 5,000. Is it 5,000 yet? That's a big fat round number. God, Bitcoin. Seriously, somebody must be getting burned by this Bitcoin. Wow, look at the dollars coming up off the floor. Yeah, I don't know, man. That thing's really... Where's the floor here? Is it sitting at... Can't see this goddamn number. Bad color choice. 57, that sounds about right. So yeah, the big critical thing is coming all the way back to this 3,000 level. This is the end of the year coming up on the chart. This dotted line, so interesting. This is just about when we climaxed. That sounds bad, but right here. All right, this is November 17th, so we're 2 days from the climax. Oh, it was so good back then. She loved me. Look at her, all stem to stern. Poor Bitcoin. I mean, there'll be a lot of trading to be done in this window, though. This will be the big chatterbox. There'll be all sorts of crazy scalps in here. I don't think anything's moving a straight line. We could definitely have another week of dripping down, but wow, you know, on the daily, the bargain hunters have already come in here. They'll definitely scalp it into that monster hammer here. That's a no-brainer. But then what? You know, probably some dilly-dally. It's going to take a long time to consolidate underneath this floor here, but we pop above this thing. But there's so much money to be made if you trade big enough here. Just here. I'll definitely dump all my scalps that I'm in right now. I'm underwater on that top ticket. I would dump them. I'll go flat and then just put another bank in again and just rinse and repeat. I think that's the way to do it from a lazy standpoint. Yeah, so execution, you know, that could be just laying in a buy limit. You don't have to be pulling the trigger. You think execution, you think having a gun. Yeah, so straight line, you know, I mean, of course, it's quiet here. I think until the bottom of the hour kicks in, just some drama coming at the bottom of the hour. Let's go see what the Forex factory says. I don't know. Does anybody look at this shit? Forex factory. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Does anybody listen to this guy? So I've been doing a lot of listening on the internet. So I come across this guy named Vox Day. And I'm like, oh my God, it's ICT's brother. I guess the news came out of Australia, monetary policy. I missed it 2 hours ago. I guess it was just the same boring shit. Didn't move the market too much. I don't see a big reaction. It trapped all the bulls here on this fucking Dalian. All the breakout traders have been trapped and raped here. They have to endure this punishment now. Here comes flying back the Darian's flying back to Starting Gate. Everybody's waiting for the big crescendo. Boy, this thing looks hell-bent on just cutting north tonight. Here, fell out of bed on Sunday, came down. Yeah, I mean, this could just keep going. And I mean, 2 weeks ago, we were up here. Wow. looks so bullish on the daily, like it's just going to keep cutting up. New Zealand's pulling back. I wait for the bottom of the hour. Yeah, I don't know what to say. James H. So it's a creeper gear situation. I think it's about wave selection, though. That's what I was trying to do last stream, was wave selection. And I did think this girl was so cute and funny when she talked about which wave to select, like it was like going on a date. And I think that's the funny thing about it, is that her metaphor is just so amazing. Piddly waves. Discombobulated. Chop. So the choppy waves are tough. Then the baby waves, they don't come from a long way away. Mr. Right now as opposed to Mr. Right. Check this girl out. She's so adorable. She's got a metaphor here for the fucking situation, involved in dating. Dating's like wave surfing, really. How dare you? Couple jail convictions, maybe. 5 kids, 5 different women. Let's see. So he's got 5 kids. So he's got 5 kids, 5 different women. Poor thing, he's busy. He's busy repopulating the planet. He was on the Jerry Springer show this last wave. Oh my God. And look at these 2 gay guys over here. She can't get them to, they don't even care about her. She's just another chick. Don't sell yourself short. She's got a sense of direction. Integrity. I like those, that's why I like the Gartley and Cypher. I do like the bat wings. Oh, the Cypher has more integrity. Brush your teeth. I'll shave my legs for you. Don't dilly-dally. I'm telling you. Yeah, sit up straight and pull the trigger. Well, unless you got enough Mazola oil. Oh boy. So there you go. Everything you want to know about surfing but was afraid to ask. Oh man, this is too funny. Absolutely hysterical. She's an expert. Expert in surfing. Yeah, too funny. Mr. Right. Gotta find the right wave to surf in this game. Oh boy. They're gonna punish this New Zealand and Australia here. Got my trusty buy limit sitting down here. I guess the news wasn't that good. There you go. It's 9:30. So what's the story? What's the craziest market right now? God, that euro looks like it's going to stop the pound. Man, everything's coming unwrapped. Volatility should pick up coming into the end of the year here. The wheels are going to come off. I just get that feeling. It's going to be a Donnybrook. Clear the bench. Take no prisoner at the end of the year. Yeah, I was asking people about Bitcoin, and a lot of people just don't even know how to buy it. You know, look at this thing. It's like trying to buy eggs at the Chicago Board of Trade. Got an egg contract. Yeah, Vox Day, man. What is with this guy? I guess he's young. He was in a band. I'm trying to figure him out. Then he wrote a book about Jordan Peterson. That Jordan Peterson's out of his mind. But here's a guy that believes in Jesus Christ. So Vox Day is a Jesus freak. But he's saying Peterson's got his head up his ass, and I'm like, but don't you have your head up your ass? So I was looking for an Ayn Rand, where Vox Day talks about Ayn Rand, but I don't think he would. And then he's always bragging how smart he is, and I'm like, God, you don't sound too smart. Taking forever to fucking make a goddamn sentence. I want to do a thing about Vox Day and just rip them to pieces, but it's kind of off topic, but that stuff just gets me. It's like watching Stefan Molyneux, who's just a British actor. Everything he does is such a con to just be all, and then he has he's got all this clickbait thumbnails on his. It's just amazing. People fall for that shit. They love it. Eat it up. He gets a lot of thumbs down. I watch it for the circus atmosphere, but he goes in the most elaborate fucking drill down on stuff. I'm like, dude, thanks for telling me about stuff I just don't give a fuck about. Like, now, if there's some really hot girl at the coffee shop, call me. But why are these people going off on these? Nobody gives a fuck. And then they say, well, these guys are social justice warriors. Well, isn't that what they are? For the proper way to live. And I want to call up Stefan Molyneux and be the guy that calls in and goes, yeah, I beat the shit out of my kid. He's never been more well behaved than my fucking... Like, yeah, I beat him with a fucking goddamn wooden spoon. The kid's never done any drugs. Since I started beating him, he's fucking amazing. I beat him till he pulls a trigger on my scripts I wrote. This is amazing. What the fuck's going on out there? Oh, my sound died? Shit. Not surprised. Alan Watts, is that the guy? That's not Chris Watts, the guy that killed his family. Really, my fucking sound's fucked up. I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, I just have noise in the background. No, I just stumbled into these things, you know. I'm watching this one guy, the guy that wrote the game, Roosh. Roch. This bearded guy. He's interesting. But everybody's so on... Oh, and I'm watching this Owen Benjamin comedian, and he thinks that there's like a... people that think that... the Earth's flat, you know, they start going that direction. I'm like, wow, really? I mean, they're tipping into the flat Earth field. You know, they're on that trajectory into the flat Earth. That's what I'm always like, oh, gee, really? Okay. Sounds about right. Everything's just stalled out here. Waiting for the bum rush into London. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, anybody listen to all that political stuff? I guess I have to have something to chew on, so I dial it in, and I'm curious, and then I think, wow, really? Like, this guy wrote a book? Alan Watts, yeah. Alan Watts is kind of like Jordan Peterson, where he just talks in these abstract... If you listen to Peterson talk, what he's doing is... So people think he's smart, but all he is he's very highly detailed. It's kind of like talking about the market. It's like saying, well, the market's going up, but it's going down. Because there's a fractal. In other words, there's a counter trend, micro trend inside the trend. And as soon as you start to talk like that, well, it's fucking anything goes. It's like quantum physics, you know. But what's the point? I always wonder, what's the fucking point? At least if you can't connect it to something in the real world, the only time it's ever interesting is when there's a real world example of something, and you take the concept and you plug it into a real world example and go, let me see how that thing functions. But to talk in abstractions like that, and all these speculations. It's just worse. It's worse than watching some guy tell you the fundamental reason why the market's going to do X. Well, it should do that. The market's not doing what it should do. Yeah, really? Wow. Amazing, huh? Bitcoin should be going up. It's like the only thing. If it should be doing it, I mean, people should be behaving a certain way. Well, they behave how they behave, I guess. You know, the one thing about trading is the acceptance that things don't always make sense. So that's another reason why it's hard to make money trading, because you want your trades to make sense. And if you're just throwing orders out there and capturing volatility and having some clue of where the ceilings and the floors are, and the basements and the attics are, then because you didn't use a moving average and you didn't use inside information, that somehow it's not a valid approach to the market. And this Clevesis guy has realized that, yeah, you just have to trade your view of the market, because you're probably going to run up against people saying, I can't fucking believe you're taking that trade. Like, but the size that you're in is making you upset about the trade, then of course, then you have one more emphasis on getting the trade just right, because you're trading so big it has to be even better. Your entries have to be better. You know, so I heard this Forex Hangout guy say that. I got to get better entries. No, you don't. You need more entries. You need a spectrum of entries. You need some shitty entries. You need some good entries. The idea that you're going to prove your entry. So I think that was also a really great way to lose money, was to try to tweak something and try to get it more better. And then I'm like, oh, you know what? It turns out that just trading like a slob, when you would not think that that would work out, but you can kind of be a slob in a way, because you can be like, you know what? You can be more cavalier, but you can't if you are afraid to lose money, or you have this ultimate, like you'd see stuff, if you saw an ad in the paper for a musician, they'd say, only serious musicians. Well, I mean, who's showing up like as a gag? Of course it's serious. I mean, there's as serious as they think they can be. Have anybody watched this American Idol thing? I mean, these people, they're serious. I mean, they seriously think they're good. You know, but the trading thing's weird, because you can really find some goofs making a ton of money. And you're like, really? Like, dude, I mean, but you're so dumb. That's the charm of it. And with the guy was with a pencil behind his ear and 5,000 computer screens, is like, God damn, that little fucking idiot's making money. What the fuck? I'm sitting here like trying to crack the code, the Holy Grail, and build some robot to trade this shit. I mean, I've seen that. I've done that. I've done it a few times. I've done that venture. And every time it ends in an anxiety attack, not an anxiety attack, but just the anxiety of waiting for the computer to complete a checklist of trades it's going to take, and it takes the trades, and of course it's all fictitious because it's a fixed spread. And even if it's wide, it's fixed. And you know, it's just, if you don't turn it off to trade through the news, it's trading through the news, and maybe that's how it made money, because it traded through the news, and the spreads get wide in the news, and if it's fixed at even 5 pips on the euro, and the spread went to 20 pips for a millisecond, it really couldn't have made that money. When you test that robot, you have to realize that there's those kind of wins in there that are just like, well, that's fucking insane. And but you could get excited about the fact that, oh, maybe you can make money on manual trading, right? And if you took a demo and you manually traded, you're like, oh, look at you. I mean, you can make money. You could lose money. But you wouldn't want to bank your whole happiness on whether you're going to win or lose money trading these markets, because. But I do think that people are going to always try to fine tune it, and I just don't think that's the way to go. trade a broader spectrum and be able to trade deeper and be able to trade way off the chart where most people are like, oh God, I mean, because the guy that jumps in big on one position at the market, he's like married to this fucking bitch. And she gains 500 pounds and he's like, holy shit, I think she just broke my mattress, you know. I went on a date like that where the girl broke my mattress. I had an air mattress and she broke it. So I had to sleep on a hump after she left. The pillars that hold the air together, the two halves of the air mattress together, she destroyed the integrity of the structure. And she looked like Jay Leno. It was a bad date. I was lonely. So, we'll come to some conclusion here, top of the hour. No news, just... So go marching into Europe now. London Open. This is a little slow. Creeper gear march. The pound's perking up. Looks like it's never going to sell off, so I'm glad I'm in my Australian. Look, the pound's never going to... Looks like they're just going to crush the dollar now. So much for that. I used to sell into these rallies thinking, oh yeah, that thing's going to come back. And they just kept churning north. I'm like, oh, that kind of backfired. Look at this fucking euro. It just keeps on storming north. Little baby hammer down here, an unfair value in the half-hour euro. All aboard. Try to pull some pips out of this poor son of a bitch. Yeah, I don't know. I just can't imagine putting a 10K on one ticket and going, oh yeah, it's going down. Oh, it's going down. Like, I could put a 10K. Dude, I could trade fucking 8 pairs with 2Ks and get into a 16. I could get in all sorts of trouble with 8 pairs, 2K on each thing. 16K. Boom. I already 16K of exposure possible. And then I could lay another... I used to trade with 3Ks at the market with no stop all day long. It was fine. I mean, you could 3 trigger pulls and you're in a fucking 9K. So here I'm in at the market here on Australia and on the I got filled here at the market and pulling the trigger. So that's another thing is that I could scale in every half hour I could buy if it's down. And so how many tickets do I have launched? Not that many. It seems like a bad way to trade. Like if it's down, I buy. Down, I buy. Down, I buy. I'm only in a 3K. Like, 4K, right? I don't like the idea of putting a buy stop here. I just feel like the biggest idiot. Like these bars are too big, actually. Now, you can put a sell stop here, but are you really going to want to ride this thing for this and make 5? I guess. I'm thinking of accumulation. So if I'm going to accumulate during this phase, I'm like, okay, every time it's down, I'm going to buy because I'm bullish. And for whatever reason. But I'm looking at to me, what's attracting these markets, what's making them move is they're moving into the void. Where are the next voids at? Up or down? If you can see the next hole, that's where the destination is. As far as I'm concerned, it's going to be... It's either going into this hole below or the hole above. As it's already crushed into this. All right, so we got to get above that round number. Yeah, so it's a real It's really tough here. Like, I'm still long this guy too. I think we're itching to go up above that line. For some reason, I like this trade, and I like the can't kill that script. I can't change the time frame. Man, look at this euro. It's pissed off. Nobody makes euro sit in the corner. It just keeps ripping north here. Yeah, it looks like hell bent. Going up. She's going up, Captain. I guess it doesn't. It isn't broadcasting. I thought it was. I thought I got those videos that come through. I thought I tested it. I got
It's not an absolute science for you as it is for my mentorship. Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, I don't know. I thought it could broadcast that video. So it's probably going to take us to London for these guys to move. The pound looks itching to go though. Look at that thing. Fuck. Really? God. Oh, it's too bad. It's so funny. I don't know why. I rebooted the whole system and everything. Can I pick up the audio? I must have installed something wrong. like some program I put in on top took over the allocation of that memory for that shit. I'm not surprised. Well, it's going to take forever for these markets to move. I'll wait for the dollar yen to go up and the Australian dollar to go up. Waiting, I should say. Boy, the British pound, it's on its way. Yeah. Oh, well. Yeah, so, not much I can say there. I'd have to play the audio through the, hold the mic up to the fucking speakers to go around it. I guess the problem is OBS remembered my last hardware configuration, so I'm stuck with it. Anybody buying Bitcoin for real? Is it melts down? It's kind of coming back here. Recovery from plummeting. Yeah, I think it's got something to do with yeah, the Bitcoin, man. It's going to be a real football. It'll be going up and down. I guess it's easier to trade now that it's broke through that low now. That kind of like the, you know, it's easier to trade now. Nobody's going to wonder. Let's see how it reacted here. I don't think it's really going to be, you know, you're looking at this daily chart. There's certainly a huge spectrum of orders you can have in here. Maybe this will be the ultimate low. I mean, this will be like it, you know. If you look at the monthly chart, you're like, oh yeah, that's a discount, and then consolidate here. I don't know if we're ever going to, honestly, I don't think Bitcoin will ever take out these highs. What's more likely is that it's just going to dick around in $1,000 range like gold did. Look how many broken hearts there are in gold. What a heartbreaker. I'm sorry, this is silver. Same thing with silver. Look at this piece of shit. Do you remember the people talking about silver's going to go to... Really? How's that silver trade working out? Dude, you're all the way to $14. Well, I want to have it in my hands. Okay. Look at this thing. Does anybody remember $9? My God, man. You know, silver used to trade forever down here. 2004. 2002. $5. We just dick around. Look at this psychosis, man. It's never going back there. You fucking nuts? All the silver stackers. God, isn't it just obvious when everybody's like talking about it that is you're totally fucking the last guy to buy it? The stock markets are just going to melt down. This is Dow Jones. I got the Dow Jones in here, I swear. Somewhere. I put the max amount of symbols you can put into this thing. Look at this NASDAQ. This is the Apple iPhone shit right here. Look at this thing. Can you believe this, NASDAQ? It's mind-blowing. Wow, that is catastrophic. Boy, that is a top. Who couldn't see that shit coming? God, it even broke the trend line. It's about time. Goddamn NASDAQ. Look at that fucking thing. Jesus, that thing's gonna keep tanking. That's so fucked. I'm sorry, that is not a buying opportunity. Maybe down here, right? When you start chopping out these wicks for a bounce, for a scalp, but that thing is fucking cooked. The UK is ready to step through the floor. He's trapped up here. Look at the S&P 500. That's just about to breach the line here. That's the weekly. But look at the monthly. Are you kidding me? What are they going to say? They're going to blame it all on Trump. When this thing breaks, when it goes to test this line, it's going to test that trend line? Wow. And, Trump's a liberal. He won't be able to figure it out. He'll start scrambling and doing more tariffs. You can only imagine how it's like quicksand. The more you move, the worse it gets. The Dow Jones actually looks pretty bullish, amazingly. I gotta get rid of this fucking indicator here. Okay, this here is right. Okay, there you go. Let's go back and set the scale to normal. Wow. That's be a bloodbath for this Dow Jones here. Man, that's done. Oof. Bye-bye. There goes your Apple iPhone, that piece of shit they built. When you start to pile on to stuff like that, you take out 1/8" quarter headphone jack standard shit, you start to de-standardize it like these assholes they're talking about. They're going to charge it for people to go on Facebook. It's so fun to watch all this shit melt down. Facebook, what a piece of shit. What an absolute piece of garbage. I'd rather go back to fucking... Who owns MySpace? Let's go buy that. Let's go back to MySpace. When's that going to have a fucking rebirth? I swear to God. Yeah, so stock markets are ready for serious fucking decline. I say crude oil is coming all the way back to fucking $20 a barrel at some point. Oh, it's gonna be so beautiful. Cheap fuel. God, what are they gonna do with all these companies? They're gonna be fucking buying their stock back as it melts down. It'll be hysterical. Crude oil's about to fall through this floor. Going to $40 a barrel on this fucking crude oil. Jesus Christ, look at this thing, man. That thing is just meltdown city. You can make it down to 40. $15 from crazy. That is going to be something else. Look at this. $100 a barrel up here. Wasn't that long ago? This is supposed to be, they're running out. There's no more oil. Peak oil. I remember I had a friend, my couch surfer friend, my Zen. This guy, this guy would not shut the fuck up about peak oil. I'm like, dude, you gotta wait. Peak oil? Yeah, they ain't making no more oils. Look at this sell-off. Does anybody remember when crude oil went from 150, 145 down all the way down to fucking 50? Wow. Kablamo. Boy, that's some kind of crazy. Look at that puppy. That thing can move. It's on a mini tear. Put a fork in it. It's done. Anyways, go to sleep and then wake up for London Open. Cash out of my winners. Reload the wagon on limits. It's a short week. Should be some fantastic moves tonight. Well, kind of just next 2 days. The way crude's acting, stock market's melting down. Everybody's running for cover. I guess the big money already took their profits at the end of the year last month. So the October stock crash, that's a classic too, they say. October is always tough for the market. Well, looks like November's tough for it. It's right around the same. That's what the cycle guys. You know, the guys do cycle charts and stuff. Well, that's all bullshit. You can't. I've tried it. You know, okay, it's close. It's not picking out the exact fucking day. What's the point? Why get trapped in all that fucking idealistic stuff when it just doesn't exist? It just you fucking just can't be kidding. Look at this fucking this is the U.S. oil market. If that's not the fucking biggest pile of fucking noise, the whole chart's a big pile of noise. Weekly crude oil chart. And you're gonna tell me that's not random? Too bad I couldn't. The ICT guy audio didn't come through, but a year ago today he published a video for an hour about the new science of Fibonacci, and you just listen to it and you just crack up. You're like, oh my god. It's just, and then he's going to sell you mentorship at the end. I'm like, oh really? Can't wait to sign up for that. It's amazing. There's probably more people making money. Oh, I watched the So Darn Easy Forex guy. You talk about somebody who's completely detached from reality. These people, they do, and they've got people subscribing and signing up. And I don't know how the guy does it. How does he manage all those people's concerns? I mean, that's a fucking job. I guess he should get paid for that. But boy, the market's just such a, you know, just you and the market's plenty of interaction. It's tough to have somebody that you would, because what if you copy their trades? I don't know. Do you want to trade your own plan, or so? I guess some people are happy copying other people's trades, but I just feel like, what if that guy just has a losing streak, or what if the guy retires from posting his signal service? I never wanted to be dependent, so I never really signed up for a signal service. I guess I could have years ago with somebody that had a good signal, but of course all that is predicated upon how much you would risk on that signal. Is it such a good signal service that you would just go in deep on that one signal? I don't know. I guess it's really not up for that. I'd much rather make my own mistakes and at least have my own scheme. But I always wondered where they get the signals from. That was I was always curious about. I was like, well, they would always tell me we have a research department. They brag how they got this guy on staff. Well, he's a floor trader. He's a former floor trader. So what? I had a guy from Mensa lose $21,000 of my money. This guy's from Mensa. I didn't know what Mensa meant. I thought he had a disease called Mensa. And this guy's a complete ass clown. I signed up for that. Based on a theory of, I got a day job, and this guy, that's what he does, so let him manage money. What do I know about it? They had a nice office, nice carpeting. Looks like everybody bathed. So I was sucked in by the normalness of the people there. I thought, well, they must know what they're doing. Look at them. They've, they seem to care. They look concerned. Turns out they're completely feeble. They wiped out in 6 months, they wiped out 21 grand. So I thought, fuck, I could never. I was kind of excited to go after, to do my own, manage my own account, because I don't feel like I could do any worse than that. I was inspired by their feebleness. Yeah, that was. But I mean, that was a choice. That is the choice. The people have give their money to a trading house and let them put in a bunch of instruments and maybe make 10% a year, 20% a year, and you're happy. But trading's just too much fun, I think, to leave it to somebody else to do. Kind of rather blow up my own account. Something about watching somebody take your car and, okay, can I borrow your car? Next thing you know, yeah, well, I had a little problem with the parking brake, and I guess it was on the whole time I was driving. I wonder why the mileage sucked. So yeah, it's a real. So who's observing? He's still got the same name. Who's observing? What's going on over there on A squared? So I know this lady at the coffee shop, and she works over there, and she's, she trusts the government deeply. But then she's saying that the people in A squared are very, kind of uppity. And I'm like, well, that its own private, it's like fucking mini Seattle there. Bunch of fucking utopians. Secret code. Yeah, Ann Arbor's a trip. I was there in 1982 on Hill, on Forest Lane. The address was 1111. I thought that was very interesting. And one of the guys that lived there was taking LSD and mescaline. I would have coffee with this guy in the morning, so he had like 5. This guy was a computer guy, so he had forged his report card. He hacked into the computer, and he was getting straight A's according to the computer. And he was brewing up coffee, so in the morning, he'd say, hey, want to do some coffee? And yeah. So he had like a a cone filter, and he'd actually pour 1 cup at a time, and he had like 8 coffees in the freezer. And he'd say, "What flavor do you want?" It was crazy. But yeah, and then he ended up, his parents found out he was rigging his report card, and then I think later on, he either killed himself or he got so high on LSD that he had brain damage and stuff, and he just ended up like staring at the wall and shit. He ended up like Sid from Pink Floyd. He pulled a Sid Barrett. Ann Arbor is just, that's the place you could paint your face. You could dress like a clown and you'd blend in. That whole corridor. But I heard that Ypsilanti had some issues going on. Then they want to start like a women's. I hear something about the women wanting to start like a hunt club or something. I don't know. It's kind of scary out there. I don't trust anything. Looks like Darian's finally ready to go up into the hole. Go up in the attic. Man, I tell you, man, these towns. Culture shock. Is the wind chill coming up? No, the thing about the Ann Arbor crowd is that if you have like a crowd of loonies, the problem is that the standard operating procedure becomes really loony, and so people don't even see the looniness. They're like, "Oh yeah, well you're out of your fucking mind, so am I." And nobody's really, I guess people are trying to outdo each other there. But the standard starting level is pretty fucked up, and that it's just the amount of crazy shit. There's people who live there their whole life. My buddy went out there to put he was working on houses. There was a new subdivision going up out there. And I don't know, to me it looks like San Francisco. I mean, they must have high taxes there because it looks very expensive. There's people probably making LSD 25 over there, the real stuff. I gotta believe. There's really bad stuff going on. But yeah, it's if I just fell into the YouTube, all these YouTube people, but it's really weird because there's such a wide spectrum of people posting stuff on different topics. So I came across this guy named the Guitarologist, and I mean, it's just amazing. People have just spent their whole life in one niche item, and then they got a channel about it, and some of these people's channels are so highly produced, it's just incredible. They've spent about, I'd say, 4 hours editing a video. It's incredible. And all these issues with the people paying them and making money from their channel, and it's like, oh boy. Yeah, so it just, God, I don't know what the fuck, man. I swear I was able to stream before with audio, desktop audio, but I noticed OBS has this really weird look to it when it comes up now. It's got all these extra things, and I guess I have to uninstall it and start over or something, if it's worth it. I just need to get another computer and just feed a real audio file into my mixer so I know it's I'm not a big fan of software because I don't trust that it's actually working. I like hardware with a knob and like a LED blinking. I never know if any of this stuff even is working. You can't see electricity, so how do we know it really is running? Gosh, so yeah, it's a boring night. I hate the holidays. It's so depressing. That's why you need more drugs. It's like, oh, is the family going to get together for Christmas? Aunt Marge is coming over again. Oh, really? Did she knit you a sweater? I mean, I don't know. I guess this is just what people need to do, right? It's like putting a Fibonacci on something. Oh, hey, look, you got a Fibonacci for Christmas. Oh, it's red. Didn't see that coming. Oh, man, I mean... Oh, look, I got you a Nautilus shell. I know you like that logarithmic spiral. Oh, God, what'd you get me? Oh, it's in a... And then people gift wrap this shit. Dude. Just put a towel on and then pull a towel off. Like, okay. Oh, but I got... Then you're left with a bunch of... Well, that's the fun of Christmas is... They call it that in England. They admitted it. They call it Boxing Day, I think. I always thought Boxing Day is when you got like, I went to the gym, beat the shit out of somebody. But that's the whole fun of it, see? You're wrapping up the presents and, oh God in heaven. That's something we got to get away from. We got to phase that out. And all the Christmas music, you know, God damn, get some new material. It's terrible. I say bah humbug. That's where I'm at. Oh, it's just slow and boring, man. It's disappointing every day. I always think my trades are the best. And I'm like, oh, it's probably not going to go up now. I guess it's less disappointing since I decided to trade on limits instead of at the market, so... Every time I trade at the market, I think, boy, I better trade small because this so doesn't look like it's going to go my way. So I'm just kind of like, yeah, it's just plodding along. There's really, I don't know, British pound keeps going up, so that's good for my Australian dollar. New Zealand, I think just, I don't know, the summer was too hot to trade. Computers are running hot. Traded my tablet. Not the same experience. But the tablet trading is kind of cool because then you can go somewhere else, and that's the best part about, you know, having a mobile computer in the market. You don't have to be so tied to the computer. You know, it's bad enough. So that's the only fun I get, I guess. That's a new thrill, is tablet trading. We gotta be careful. When you're swiping the screen, be careful not to launch a ticket, a double-click ticket. So double-click tickets are kind of dangerous on the tablet. Whereas the drag and drops, they're harder to drop, to grab and drop them on there, but it's, you can butt dial, I suppose, a big array of orders if you're not careful. You gotta be careful on the tablet, because the computer at home is a little more formal. Execution is, but you can really get into trouble if you're running a bunch of automatic orders. Tablet's just too easy to trigger it accidentally. And then, of course, Windows, I was touching the edge of the screen today, and it loaded a whole different profile, wiped out all my symbols. But it makes it more convenient, you know. There's a little cost and convenience. It's like the automatic car that takes over. Self-driving car that kills people. So yeah, it's just really, it's a grind. It's slow. This time of day. All I got was this pop out of the yen. This British pound was the only good trade, really. Where they smashed down here, this is obvious. Whether you sold this top or you bought this thing down here, now looks like it's going to weasel its way up, drift up. I thought it was going to pull down more before it went up. But I think it looks like it's just dollars going to get crushed. I think the yen's going to get destroyed worse, though. I thought I'd guppy up here. Yeah, Bitcoin, wow. What a story. Of course, for the Bitcoin lovers, they're probably buying into this. Looks like it's ready for another tank. It really looks ready to go down. That's the only rally on a 4-hour chart. Wow, pretty sad. Looks ready to tank some more. All right, man. So, yeah, I'm going to have to go take a nap before London Open. So thanks for tuning into the show without any backing tracks. I thought I heard him earlier when I was streaming some background noise. And I thought, oh yeah, that's coming through, but I couldn't tell. I'm pretty sure I had it starting. Maybe it died. Okay, so sleep tight. Don't let them hunt your stops.